Yo, YouTube, what's going on? This is me again, baby. This is Chosen for Two. Today is a special day. It is a really special day because I get the opportunity to do something for a friend and a supporter who reached out to me and asked me to do something. Had I done a video on something, and I had not done it. And so because I had not done it, and because we're always looking for reasons to do some different content and some different material, when the opportunity was presented, I think I have no other choice but to jump on it. I was asked by Dirty Red 81, a subscriber asked me, had I done any videos on this tour pack that I have put on Jenny, because they bought one and they're trying to figure out which way they want to go as to how they want to install that on their bike. Well, I'm just going to take this thing all the way back off, and I'm going to show you what I have up under it. I'm going to show you what I have inside of it. I'm going to show you how I supported the hard plastic of it, and what parts that I used to put this particular setup right here together. On this setup, we have the pack, which is a medium tour pack, a curved backrest, which did not come with the pack. I have this rack, low profile rack, that did not come with the pack. And I have this it's actually a tool bag, which I bought from Cycle Gear. And I only purchased this for one reason. I purchased this for one reason and one reason only. So when I'm traveling, I can carry rain gear. So in this pack, the only thing that's in this pack is rain gear. I have the jacket, I have the pants, and I have the cover boots that goes in here. So I'm just gonna take this out and set it to the side, because when I take the pack off, this here adds a little weight, and I don't want to have to wrestle with any heavier than I need to on the lid of my pack. And so I'll just show you what I can till I get to that point. But here on this, you have just a regular medium pack. Now I modified some things on the inside. I have a document keeper on the inside. I have some stickers, and fellas, don't kill me. I get them put in there from a couple of my friends, and I'm gonna get those put in. And I did not hook up last time I had it out. I didn't hook my holder back up to keep the door from going, the lid from going too far back. But I get that put in. It has a inside cover. And so from here, I guess I can go ahead and show you what I have on the inside. As I remove this inside and just sit it up there, when I remove that and just move it out the way, then initially what you're going to see on the inside of here is you're going to see a mixing board. Now this is a regular paint mixing board. I just needed a solid piece of aluminum to put inside here, because I didn't want to put those bolts directly into the plastic. And so with the bolts not into the plastic, it'll last a little bit longer. It won't wear them out and end up breaking the plastic, or them eventually working their way through the plastic due to weight and vibration. And as you notice, I have four bolts. Now this bolt here I have is different because I messed something up, and so you have 4 bolts, and all these it's just 8mm bolts. Just 8mm bolts. You can go down to Lowe's and pick these up, but you need them long enough to go in through all the existing holes, and I'll show you that in just a moment as well. So on the inside, you have a mixing board, and you see how the 4 bolts are set up. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when you set up your pack, it's going to come without the holes in it. So you're going to have to make you a template based upon the holes on the back of your motorcycle that the backrest or the rack or whatever you would have back there, or whatever you desire to put on, because those same holes will house either a backrest or a rack, or both, depending on how you want to set it up. But the existing holes is what you need to take a piece of cardboard, a piece of paper, and make you a pattern and mark those holes, so you can use that on the inside of your pack and place it where you need to or want to, depending on how far back you want to adjust your pack. So we'll get into all that in just a minute. Let me go ahead and get this pack off so I can show you the underside, and then I'll show you how I give you the hopefully give you a viable enough idea through explanation of what we're talking about. I try to also find online the different parts. I try to find online the pack, the rack, and the tool bag. Okay, so let's get at it. We're gonna go ahead and take this thing out of here. Yes, sir. All right, YouTube, we got to strip down, baby. As Tank could say, Jenny got a rear end out. Tank, leave me alone. Anyway, all right, here we go. And so I've taken off the pack, and now you can see what we're dealing with. Okay, so now what we have to understand is that you have 4 existing holes on the back of your, if you have an F6B, you have these 4 holes that would encompass either you're going to have a rack here that comes off the back, or you're going to have a backrest, or she's going to be bare. So if you, like Dirty Red, I'm hoping I'm helping you here. If you decide to put on a medium pack or any type chop pack, medium pack, razor, anything of that nature, you're going to have to modify it because it does not come equipped for this bike. A lot of people don't care too much for it being on there because they think this pack belongs to Harley. Call it what you will. I think if you can get something to work and you like it, you can make it work, do what you do. It's your bike. So that's what I'm gonna do. And so what I did is I saw these 4 holes here, right? And I had to figure out how to get this adjusted and to where it would actually make sense. It would actually make sense on the back of this bike. I had to figure it out. So what happened is, what I did was when I purchased this bike, it had a black rack. I'll try to find a picture of it and put it up, but it had a black rack on the back of it. Use what you got, baby. So what I did is I took the existing rack, because Dirty Red, I think one of your ideas was an old rack. That right here, underneath there, hope you can see it. I don't know how well you can see it, but underneath there is the old rack that was on the back of this bike. So what I had to do, and I utilized it because it has the existing holes that are a direct matchup to the bike. But all I had to do, you see there's a bevel underneath the pack. And so what I did was I took the rack, I got a grinder, and I just cut. I cut it off up here, and I cut it off on the bottom where it would fit within that bevel, and you can't see it. Then I had to grind off the end of it to make sure that it didn't raise up on the edge of, because it was on the edge of here, real close to it. So I just ground the edge down a little to make sure that that rack fits uniquely and flush underneath the pack. Okay, so now we're there, right? Almost there. So what I had to do after that was I attached, so when I take it off and on, so when I keep taking it off and on, I went ahead and attached the rack to the underside of the pack with 3, okay, that one is loose, with 3 bolts. I attached it to the pack. Now I have the rack underneath there, so now I have a fastener on the pack that actually will fit directly onto the back of this bike. Okay, so from that point I made me a pattern, an outline. I took a piece of cardboard and I actually come here, put it on there, and made me an outline and marked these holes on the pattern so I can make sure those holes are where I needed them to be. Okay, once you get that part, once you get your pattern made that way, because you have to go inside your pack, measure it out evenly, and put your pack on your so you can put your holes through there, through your pack. Okay, now what I did after that was drill the holes, and I drilled the holes from the underside so they'll come up through the pack. So now I know exactly where the bolts will go down, back down through the pack and into there, into the back. So what I really had to do was kind of adjust here. I made sure it was flush, but just adjust it to make sure it's even in here. And you can adjust it once you get it on the back. So now my task was to go inside. But what I used the pattern for, the pattern was not for the box. The pattern was for the upper side of the pack. This thing is made of plastic. It's made of hard plastic. So inside this bevel right now is the inside this bevel right here. You see how it's raised around the side? So inside of it now is that old rack. So when you look at it from the underneath the bike, away from the bike, you don't see the rack because the rack is actually incognito. It's hidden underneath the bike. So what I needed the pattern for, so these holes are already here. I needed the pattern. I really needed the pattern more so for the mixing board. So what's the mixing board for? Glad you ask. This is a mixing board. I think this thing may have cost me about $3 or $4 from Harbor Freight. And the mixing board is used because I needed something aluminum. Now it'll come with a curve in it, so you're gonna have to find a way to straighten out your mixing board, because the way these mixing boards are sold, it comes so you can hold them and mix paint on top of them. And so what I had to do was find a way to flatten this mixing board out to where I could use it inside here. And what that does, when I had to use the pattern to do the bolts holes on the mixing board. Okay, so now when I put the mixing board here and I have the rack underneath that you really can't see, what this does is it fortifies the plastic. So now I'm not putting bolts directly through the plastic and taking a chance of tearing up the plastic, because the bolts are going directly into the mixing board. And so I had the plastic is encompassed between a piece of aluminum and a piece of iron, which fortifies it. And so that's basically what I did with the pack, just to prep this pack to get ready to put it on the bike. I also had to, I couldn't find one that I liked. I really love this one, this rack, and so I get you the name of it in just a moment. But I had to find this. I found this rack. I ordered it. It comes as well with no, there were no holes on top of this pack, and so I had to measure and drill these holes. Okay, the pack comes with not really any cutout holes. I think it may have had 3 holes in it. And so when I ordered the pack, I ordered it, and ironically, it lined up with the 3 holes that was already in the pack. So, but this is a separate backrest, and I did this because so your rider will have more support and feel more secure and more assurance that they're not going to just roll off the bike back there. And when I come to this bag here, I'll go ahead and give the whole thing before I put it back on. This bag here is a regular tool bag that I bought from Cycle Gear. I ordered it, and I think this is the 12-inch bag. And like I said, the only thing I have in this bag is that rain gear. You could put it tools in it. A lot of people say, why you put that there on the top of the bike, on the back of the rack? If you have, that's what the rack is for. The rack is for whatever I decide to put in. But I mean, that's what the pack is for. The pack is for whatever I decide to put in the pack. But when you travel, you'll realize how much space you take up, how much space you waste, how much space you need when you're out there on those highways. You rarely have enough space to pack the things that you have. And when you get to where you're going, if it's something that you want to be able to have room for it. And so, especially if you ride 2 up, you really run out of packing space. And so what I have here, that pack encompasses the rain gear, which I always need, because every time I ride, especially distance, I'm riding in the rain, baby. And so that's what the pack is for. So the pack itself, when you have a rack on your bike, a lot of times it comes with about 4 of these little bushings that are meant to raise up your rack. So you have 2 small ones at the front, and you'll have 2 larger ones at the 2 longer ones about double this size at the back. You notice on the back of here, The first two holes are higher than the back two. So you can either put your small one here, and I found that with mine, to keep it level, if I just put the two right there on the back two holes, it rests a little bit on my rails, but that's okay because it doesn't press on the back of my seat, so I'm okay with that. Because I didn't want it up in the air, and I wanted it kind of to stay level. So if I got use the smaller things that come with the rack, and just keep it level. If you don't have these already, you could go to somewhere and have them cut them. It's just a little piece of hard rubber, but it goes right there, and you can just let it rest there, and that way your pack stays nice and level. Other than that, that's about all we have to do to put the pack together. Now I'm gonna put this thing up here, and I'm gonna let you see the struggle I go through to put that bad boy back together. or it doesn't take that long because I'm proficient with it now. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm putting which one of the screws, and so I can get it put back together with little to no, well, not little to no, but very little headache. And within about 5 to 10 minutes, I can have it back on. And so I'm gonna get ready here, and I'm gonna put this thing back together and put it on so you can see how fast it goes back on. And I'm probably run it. And you're gonna see me struggle a little bit now because I'm working it by myself. If I had somebody else to hold the lid open, it wouldn't take that long. But you'll see, even by yourself, that you can do it. Okay, so let me get busy. Peace. I wanted the back to come down flush with the back of the bike, so I didn't want to put it where it was just so far back. I didn't want to push it too far up on my seat and have it up. I wanted it back where it'd be almost flush and not hanging so far over the back of the motorcycle. And so I put it where I could just, where it's just almost flush. And so when we're working with it by yourself, you really have to use some different skills. I said skills. So what I do is I go ahead and I take the pack, set the pack up. I take the board, put it down, and I put the first screw in the board. And I begin with the front for a reason. I begin with the front because I'm gonna need to adjust the back to put these under there because I gotta hold it up and put those under there at the same time. So to find that first hole, I just go ahead, and once we get the first screw started, the pack pretty much holds itself in place. So if we can get this first one started in here, which we have, see how with one hand, one person is actually doing all the work. So I get that one screw started. And once I've got that one started, I go across to the other side on the left side, and I go ahead and start that screw. But with this one, I had to put this underneath and and start the screw at the same time. And so I line up the pad on the inside. I go underneath with one hand and find that hole while bracing this thing. So I have to put it in the two fingers. I find the hole underneath, and I drop the screw down through it and go ahead and start the second screw. So that's two screws in it already, correct? So now we have it back in. So that's it, YouTube. That's it, YouTube. Dirty I hope I helped you out there. And so now she's back on. She is lined up just like it's supposed to be. And she's very functional, okay? So that's how she's supposed to look right there. So once I take everything else, and from that point, you'll notice I put the 4 bolts back down in there. And when you look at it from the back, you don't see the rack because the rack is actually underneath the pack. All right. And so that's where we are. And so now, only thing left to do is to get the shoes out the way. And the liner fits right back down in there. And so now she's ready to roll. That's it, YouTube. So now we have just taken that pack off and put it back on, because here's what we do. We do what our subscribers need us to do. If I've already done something and I can help you, I certainly will do what I can to help you out and to understand how to get something done. And so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. All right, YouTube, we've done it. We've reached out, we put the pack back on the bike. I took it for a ride. And then I made my way back to the house. I had to run to a meeting, but now I'm back at the house, getting ready to shut this thing down and get everything straightened out. But I just want to say one more time, happy 100th video going up on Chosen for Twos. Do me a favor, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get the next few videos. And we're gonna see you out there on that grind. I'll be back at it tomorrow, baby, at some point, or sometime this weekend. Peace.